Hello, my name's Angela Ward, and today I'm going to share with you a secret. And this secret is the truth of why your circumstances do not dictate your success. And at the end of the video, I'm going to give you an opportunity or the details of how you could then work with me to identify your resistances, your sabotaging patterns, dissolve them, and then get you moving toward your desired goal. But first of all, I want to share a presentation with you. Now, this presentation is called Structural Tension, Understanding Your Resistance. Now, what was impossible today is not necessarily impossible tomorrow. And if you think about where we are today, it's April 2020, and if I'd have said to you 5 months ago, in April 2020, the world would be on lockdown and the economic climate would be very unstable because we had a virus that was killing thousands and thousands and thousands of people, you would have said to me, that's totally impossible. Now, but I want you to keep that concept in mind, because it's true that what is impossible today is not impossible tomorrow. And that also applies to you and your life. You see, success isn't personal, it's structural. What do I mean by that? Well, just think about this picture for a second. The river flows, doesn't it? It doesn't try to penetrate through any of the rocks. It doesn't try to move itself in any direction apart from where the current is taking it. You see, because energy, and water is an energy, energy follows the path of least resistance. If you think about a tap for a second, you turn on a tap and the water naturally flows. It flows down into the vessel that's going to hold it, because it follows the path of least resistance. It doesn't try to go upwards, sideways, or anywhere else. It just goes where it naturally falls, which is also in the same line with the law of gravity. Now, everyone will go through this type of process with different results, because we all have different experiences, we all have different perceptions of the world we live in, and it's a very, very personal process. But what I need you to understand is this. We have a point A, which is our current reality, okay? And that current reality is everything about you. It's everything you have, everything you don't have. It's how you feel about everything. And you have to accept that you have created it. You have created what you have around you, and you have to accept all of that. Now, your desired reality, which is your point B, is where you actually want to be. And the structural tension is the bit in between. And this is your resistance to change. It's your resistance to moving forward. And it's the resistance that you have to create in the life that you want. And if we follow that notion that energy follows the path of least resistance, when you're designing a life you want to live, you have to accept that current reality. You have to accept it. But you also have to get to know your sabotaging patterns so that you can create a life from a place of making true choices. A life that comes from your true calling. Now, I do a whole session on how to make true choices as part of the Mindset and Resilience Coaching Program. But the purpose of all of this is to create a tension and release structure. You see, we have a natural tendency to generate ideas and desires. And these desires, even ones outside of our human needs, like things are like we like to build, right? We like to explore, we like to develop. And desire creates attention, which is only resolved by having what you want. You see, you will naturally stay in a place or space that is easiest, even if you don't like it there. And if your current reality has a stronger pull on you than what you desire, you become stuck. So in order to shift towards the desired reality, you have to align yourself to that. And it will take a number of steps to get from A to B. But the key to all of this is you have to dissolve the resistance. You have to let it go so that you've got nothing holding you, and you can that the tension and release structure that you create by going through this process helps you to move you to the path of least resistance, because the resistance isn't actually holding you in that current reality and keeping you there. But what's important to realise as well is the fact that you have to move away from trying to solve a problem, you know, because your resistances or your structural tensions are not problems. But it doesn't work. You see, look at this concept. So you have a problem, so that leads to action to solve the problem. Then there's less intensity around the problem. So you take your foot off the pedal. You don't give it so much attention. You don't put the action in there. But then what happens is the problem remains. So you never get past that resistance that you're trying to resolve. You never get past that piece, because the problem, it's always seen as a problem. And what also happens is you oscillate. You oscillate because you have one foot in the current reality, you have one foot in the desired reality, and in between that you're trying to solve the problem, and it keeps you going round in a circle. This is why it's so important that you have to let this stuff go. So what do you have to let go of? So you've got your beliefs, you've got limiting emotions, you've got these unconscious desires, because the unconscious mind actually does run the show, because that's where all your patterns of behaviours are stored. And what you have to do is you have to bring those into your conscious awareness so that you understand what the sabotaging patterns may be, so that you understand what your resistance is, and then you can deal with it, you can dissolve it. But family entanglements is a really interesting one, because what you have is your DNA goes back 7 generations. This is all part of epigenetics, and your DNA contains the beliefs, the emotions of your ancestors, okay? And you have to break that. You have to break that attachment, because a belief that may have served your great-great-grandfather wouldn't support who you are now. And values, you have to become the identity of the person that is in the desired reality. And these are your typical 6 sabotaging patterns. So I am unworthy, I'm not good enough, I'm insignificant, I need to be perfect. Now, these patterns have been adopted by you through the eyes of a child. When you were born, you were just consciousness. And as you grow, you adopt certain beliefs based on what you see around you. So, for instance, mum and dad are having an argument. Mum is shouting, dad is shouting back. You know, mum finally says, "You make me so angry." And you as a child then associate shouting with anger. Then whilst you was in the womb, you were given everything you needed without any effort at all on your part. You grow, you have warmth, and you're fed. And when you're born, all of a sudden, you have to find ways to communicate. And the first thing you do is cry. And then you get fed, or you get your bum changed, or you get a cuddle. And as you develop, the very first time you are told no, you will automatically feel feelings of rejection. Or on another scenario, you're told in order to have something, you will have to do something. So conditions are placed on you very, very early on. And with the latter, if you don't achieve the X to get the Y, you will develop a belief that you are unworthy or not good enough to have what you want in your life. And you carry these beliefs with you throughout your life because you just accept them as a child to be what they are. And they're reinforced through the conditioning, so you just don't question them. But what was true for you when you were seeing something through the eyes of a child won't be the same for you now. And that's why you have to let them go. If you have a belief, for instance, that you are unworthy, you may be spending a lot of your time trying to prove to the world who you are. You see, the key thing here is that if you bring your sabotaging patterns into your desired reality, you've made it all personal. And these patterns had nothing to do with what it is you're wanting to create in your life. Because what you want to create is purely that, a creation. And you're separate from that. You've heard that saying, get out of your own way. Well, that's exactly what it means. That's exactly what it's talking about. These beliefs and feelings are not your reality. They're programs you've picked up, and they can be changed. The study of epigenetics and neuroscience tells us so. Meet Hollie. Hollie is naturally creative, and her sabotaging belief was that she wasn't good enough and that she needed to be perfect, and that she don't have the capacity to create that life that she wants. And this was all about developing her artwork. And we worked together, and she's moved forward significantly. She's got clarity on her vision, and she knows where she is going and has plans in place to achieve her goals. So the Mindset and Resilience Coaching Program is a 12-week program. And what it does is it guides you step by step. We start to identify your resistances, your sabotaging patterns. We dissolve them. We don't try to fix them as if they're a problem. We dissolve them. And we get you moving forward to your desired goal. So this is for anyone that wants to magnetically create their future. And if you would like to work with me, the information on the slide is my email address. It's info@angelaward.co.uk or www.angelaward.co.uk. So are you ready? Are you ready to take charge of your life and start creating that reality that you desire? Or are you going to stay stuck in your sabotaging patterns? I look forward to hearing from you. Take care.